Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Today Show New York by the Disability Channel. I am so happy to be your host, Rachel Handler, and thank you for joining us today here in New York City on this surprisingly sunny, breezy day. No snow, finally. Here in New York, we've been getting a lot of cold weather. I'm sure that's not much different from our neighbors up north in Canada, where the Disability Channel was founded. But here in New York, it's a little tricky because we all walk everywhere or take public transit. Most of us don't have cars. So in the winter time, it can be especially hard for people with disabilities to get anywhere. I myself have been utilizing Ubers and taxis a lot this season. But we're New Yorkers, we're strong, we're resilient, we make it through. So I'm so glad you're joining us today. We've got such an exciting show. Soon I will be joined by Josh Basile, and he's going to talk with us about a lot. He is an amazing man who has founded some different companies. Right now he's working with Accessible, which is our greatest sponsor. So thank you, Accessible, for sponsoring today's episode of the Today Show New York. So we're really excited to speak with him. On upcoming episodes, we'll be chatting with some New York-based actors, fashion designers, and journalists. So stick around. It's all going to be very exciting. And today's only our second episode. So thank you for being here at the start of it all. I'm Rachel Handler, as I mentioned, and I am an actor and a singer and a filmmaker based here in New York City. And actually this month I've been flying back and forth to New Orleans to film a TV show, which I'm very excited about. For this TV show, they actually built me a custom prosthetic leg. So it's a leg that you've never seen before. It's very cool. So I'm really thrilled that we're taking big steps in the matters of inclusion within the entertainment industry. And today's guest will speak more on inclusion within other industries and accessibility within other industries as well. So I'm done chatting. I think it's time to meet Josh and talk about all of his life's journeys and get to know him and his work with Accessible. So let's speak to Josh.
Hey Rachel, it's so great to be here today, and I'm excited to dive deeper with you and explore all these fun topics. So,
thank you, Josh. Yeah.
So a little bit about me. Kind of growing up, I was an active child, teenager, just loved playing sports and was just everywhere and anywhere I could possibly be. And then when I was 18 years old, my life kind of was flipped upside down. I was on a family vacation at the beach, and a wave picked me up, threw me over my boogie board, and slammed me on my head. And that day, I shattered my neck and became paralyzed below my shoulders. During the early days, during the first 5 weeks, I was on a ventilator to keep me alive because I couldn't breathe on my own. And I wasn't able to speak because the ventilator was in my neck. So all I could do to think. So I did regain to make sure that every word from that moment on counted. And that's when I became an advocate for life that day. And since then, I've been moving forward, wheeling forward, doing everything I can in my power wheelchair to break down barriers and make sure that my communication, my voice, my ability to change the world, that I could do that. And first, it involved going back to school. Went to community college, then went to undergrad, and then graduated magna cum laude from law school without ever flipping a page with my fingers. Technology is pretty cool. And what it can do for when you have the right supports with technology in place, it really does break down barriers for people with disabilities. And we can talk about that today with what Accessible is providing with trying to utilize technology to transform and scale to make the internet more accessible. which I'm loving being a part of that mission proactively. Um,
Yeah.
and so that's a little bit about me. I can definitely we can definitely talk more. So where
I
do we,
love it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what haven't you done? Incredible. Thank you for sharing your story. I mean, what a journey. I'm curious, was there a specific experience or a moment where you knew you wanted to go back to school to become a lawyer? Yeah.
there's a guy, Tim Strachan, who was one of my first mentors, and he was injured 10 years earlier than me at the same beach. And it was local. He lived in the same county as me, and he was an All-American football player. He had a full ride to go play at Penn State and broke his neck. And basically, he went back to community college, then went to undergrad, then went to law school, and then ended up getting married and having kids. And literally, just he showed me that I could follow in his wheel tracks and that it was possible. So it gave me
Mhm.
the confidence to be able to do just that. And I'm very excited to share with the world that, I've went back to school, I fell in love, and next month I'm gonna have a baby boy. So I'm
Congratulations.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
so
Wow.
thank you, Tim, for showing me the way. And but mentoring was such a huge part. And that was really also helped me to find my voice as an advocate. Being able to connect with somebody like Tim early on got me away from a lot of times that physical paralysis um, transforming your life ends up becoming a mental paralysis through like depression and other things that really hold you back from seeing or being able to realize that life still can go on in beautiful and brilliant ways. So after my injury, because of mentors, I learned quickly that before my injury I did things 1 million ways. Now after my injury, I get to do it 1 million new ways, 1 million different ways, and it can still be fun, it can still be meaningful, and it can still provide so much purpose and life and energy to your everyday. So in order to really tackle that, I ended up deciding to start a nonprofit called Determined to Heal. And with Determined to Heal, we ended up creating a video mentoring platform called spinalpedia.com. And what we do with Spinalpedia is we collect videos on the internet and content on the internet and break it down by physical functionality. Because every single level of a spinal cord injury branches out to a different world of physical functionality. If I was one level above, I'd be on a ventilator. One level below, I'd start to have more movement in my arms. One level below that, a finger, and then the next finger and the next finger. It's incredible as the spinal cord branches down into different,
Mhm.
really physical opportunities of independence. So what we ended up doing is collecting that content, and now on Spinalpedia, since 2007, we now have over 21,000 videos broken down by physical functionality. So someone can put their exact movement in and have 500 to 1,000 mentors within that unique world to show them what's possible. And there's no point to reinvent the wheel. If somebody else has done it, it can give you an idea of how you can do it as well.
Wow, that is incredible. Oh my gosh. And I think that's something, you know, a lot of people think of disability as such a bad thing, as something to fear. And after my accident, too, it was like the physicality wasn't actually the hardest part. It was the mental journey of this is my new body, this is my new life. The disability affects every aspect of my life. And I think we all go through periods of grief for our old lives, but the journey is incredible. And living with a disability has made me a better person, I think, a more empathetic person. I've learned to adapt in so many ways. And having a mentor, like what you just said, it really is a game changer, for anyone with or without a disability, but especially with a disability, since we're so underrepresented in so many areas of life. Shout out to Anita Hollander, who was my mentor.
Yeah.
Amazing actress with one leg and singer. So thank you for mentioning the mentorship and all of your work with that. Did you want to add? Yeah.
Having the right mentor, but also having that right perspective.
Yeah.
I think disability taught me more about perspective than I ever knew. So much of it is about understanding and focusing on what you can do rather than dwelling on what you cannot. If every day you focused on what you can't do, it becomes just such an uphill battle, and frustration and discouragement, and if you just kind of turn that lens and focus on all the things you can do within your unique power, you end up finding that you have a superpower because you can conquer those things. You can go after them, and you can feel like you can feel that you've really accomplished it. And yes, it might be a little bit different. You might have to ask for help, but like my caregivers, a lot of people think that I'm dependent on my caregivers to be able to do everyday tasks, because I can't brush my teeth on my own. I can't do a lot of things. But I think the way that I approach it is through my caregivers. They're an extension of my hand. I become independent through them. And that little twist of that perspective really gives me, a redefined focus, and especially a lot of gratitude as well. But it really, I never feel like a burden on the people around me. I feel like together we're tackling the day, and I get to accomplish all the things that my mind is focused on changing and bringing good into the world. So it's just, I love every day I get to wake up with purpose because of perspective.
Oh, amazing. I love the way you said that. Perspective is key. And thank you so much for those words, because so often we're seen as burdens, and that's not what we are.
Not in any shape or form. And
yeah.
It's
we are going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk about more accessibility and accessibility. So stay tuned.
We are unstoppable.
We shoot for the stars.
And we can achieve anything we set our minds to.
We're entrepreneurs,
We are community leaders.
athletes,
artists,
Organic farmers.
We are mothers
And daughters.
unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
And yet, people with disabilities probably can't use your website.
To buy your shoes.
order your food,
Apply for your job. To use your data insights.
just like everybody else.
For millions of Americans.
America.
Like me.
Like me.
Like me. Me. Me.
Like me.
The internet is inaccessible.
Hey, if your business has a website, make it accessible.
For everyone.
Unlock web accessibility with Accessibility. It's simple and affordable.
And don't just do it to be compliant.
Do it because it's the right thing to do.
Web accessibility is Accessibility. Start your free trial today.
Hey, I'm Tiger Williams, and you're watching the Disability Channel, and support Easter seals all year round, and thank you very much.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Today Show. My name is Chris Power, and I'll be taking over for Unstoppable Tracy. For more information, please go to thedisabilitychannel.ca.
All right. Josh, thank you so much again for being here. This is such a fascinating conversation, and you have lived the life. I'm so excited to see what's ahead, especially when it comes to technology and disability. I feel like, the ADA was passed in the 90s before the internet was such a thing, and now we are just playing catch up, trying to make sure everything is accessible. So I would love to learn more about Accessibility and your work with them and what you do.
So I became the community relations manager in February of 2021 with Accessibility. And one of the big reasons I joined with them is because the internet, especially with COVID going on, we all were stuck in our homes, and the internet became so much more valuable. And just when it comes to an opportunity to really experience everything that the world has to offer, if the internet's not accessible, we're closing the doors on millions and millions of people that need to have that access. So the disability community is almost 1/4 of the US population, with a varying degrees of abilities within the disability community. But that's 1/4 of the US population. And being able to have an accessible internet allows you to have access to products, information, services, and opportunities. And if you can go on a website and go and navigate that properly and get in touch with those pieces of that can benefit your life, your quality of life improves dramatically. But if you go on a website and you're missing half of the picture, half of what that website's trying to provide to the world, you're in a big loss. So like when I go on websites, I use different assistive technology. I use an on-screen keyboard to be able to tab through different footers, headers, you name it, drop-down menus. I use forms to be able to fill in using voice dictation software to type as fast as I can speak. But if I don't have access to those different navigation, I can't get to where I need to be on the page. And I can't fill in forms. And I have to ask a friend or a family member to type for me, which in all honesty, they're not always there, or not everybody has caregivers to be able to do those type of things. So it's so important to make websites accessible, because it's not just about compliance, but it's also a really smart business opportunity. Like we're talking about 1/4 of the US population. This is like over $500 billion in spending power. And if websites end up making themselves more accessible, they're opening the doors to an untapped population. And they're sending a powerful message that they care, that they want to be a part of inclusion and welcoming all customers and showing that they're valuable. So it's like I very much try to let people know that web accessibility can change lives, and web accessibility, especially with like tools and access widgets like Accessibility provides, ends up bringing it to the next level. So like Accessibility's access widget provides all these different profiles. If you have epilepsy, you turn it on, it ends up blocking out and stopping any blinking or flashing or gifts that are making a lot of kind of just distractions that can cause an epileptic event. There's cognitive profiles for ADHD, for motor disabilities, for blind, for low vision. And it basically allows people with disabilities to have a customized experience on your website. And it allows them to choose how they want to navigate it, how they want to have a better experience of absorbing what your website has to offer. And I love that. It's game changing in my eyes.
That's incredible. Yeah. It's such important work, especially since 2020 with the pandemic, when everything is online, and it's just good business. You're so right. There are websites. I think I read if you have like image description for your pictures, you actually come up on the Google search more easily and higher up on the list than other sites that don't have the image descriptions. So it really is just good business too.
It's good business. It's the right thing to do. And it's an opportunity, connecting with your agency. So a lot of websites work with agencies that end up helping to give them the best practices, how to bring more accessibility or tools to their websites. And it's being able to connect with your agency or your web developer and ask them how to put on these different services to improve your web accessibility is a really important call to action to do that. And the agencies, to tell you the truth, are the biggest change makers with making the internet accessible, because they have hundreds, if not thousands, of companies that they oversee and websites that they oversee to help guide them on this business journey and on this accessibility journey. So really connecting with your agency, asking them how can we bring more accessibility to our website, whether it's through Accessibility's access widget or Accessibility's. So Accessibility also provides it's a full service hub, full suite hub of services, where they also can do make PDFs more accessible, do closed captioning, do remediation. So it's like the full package of tackling what the needs are
Wow.
of a business and a website. And so yeah, no, I love that. And if you want to find out if you are accessible, you can also just do at accessibility.com/ace. You can put your website in, and it does an audit that shows you kind of where all the places that you're doing great with accessibility, but it also shows you all the places that you're falling short. So it's a really great educational tool to scan and find out where you stand.
Oh, that's amazing. Accessibility/ace.
So accessibility.com/AC.
I think we'll add it to the comments in the chat too on the YouTube so everyone can know, because I'm already like, oh, as an actor, I have a website, but I better make sure it's accessible too, because I'm out here like I'm an actor with a disability, but that would be really awful if my website were not accessible. So what a great tool.
One of the things I really love about Accessibility since joining, they understand that people with disabilities need access to websites, and they offer this service, the Access widget, for nonprofits free of charge, because they understand that these underserved communities need access to these vital services and information that nonprofits are providing to change the lives of people with disabilities. And they really recognize that and care to make a difference. So for all the nonprofits in the world and also all the businesses in the world, I really, really strongly to change. Right now we have about 7 million websites that are accessible on the internet, but we have hundreds of millions of other websites that are not accessible. So we need to do something as a community to change that narrative.
Yeah.
And I love trying to be a part of the solution to do that. And
because there are so many solutions, right? There are so many solutions to this problem. Let's take a quick commercial break and we'll come right back. Thank you.
Hi, I am the host of Veterans Onward to Prosperity, Master Sergeant Retired Anna Maria Blevin, and I have a public announcement to share. February 22nd, 2022, so that's 2022, is a very special day. We have a special day lined up with events that not only will bring awareness to a very serious issue that is felt here in the United States, and I'm told all around the world, but military suicide is on the rise, folks. Military suicide is something that can definitely be prevented, and we're certainly going to work toward preventing it. Learn more about this at 2-22TOSAVE.com. That's 2-22 T as in Tom, O as in Oscar, save22.com. It's 222 to save22.com. And join us and be a part of that very special day that we honor to protect and prevent our military brothers and sisters from committing suicide.
Hi, I'm Casey McKay, and be sure to watch Press Box on the Disability Channel. It's some great stuff we're covering, so be sure to tune in. Again, I'm Casey McKay, reporting for the Disability Channel, and I'll see you soon.
Josh, thank you so much for this conversation. It has been so enlightening, and the work that Accessibility is doing is now more than ever just so important. Before we wrap up, I would love to pick up where we left off. If you had anything to add there, thank you.
So this needs to be looked at as a journey to really change the narrative of breaking down barriers, whether it's within education, employment, transportation, independent living, or web accessibility. First, you have to recognize the problem. Then you have to creatively come up with a solution to try to tackle it and put that into call to action with power in numbers. So everybody here that's listening today has an opportunity to be a part of that power in numbers, to do something about it. And it's just, I love thinking of this as a journey where we got to start somewhere. And yes, we maybe a lot of times I tell myself, oh, I should have done it last year or 5 years ago. That doesn't matter. Focusing on the now and focusing that we have an opportunity today to make real change and to help a lot of people, help millions of Americans. And also when you put more accessibility into your site, it also shares with other businesses when they come to you, and other people that come to your website, that maybe we make our website the same way. It's just, the more accessibility we get out in the world, the better. And I love to try to let viewers, your incredible viewers, know, and others know that we're on this journey together, and we can do a lot of good together. So
thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Such powerful words, and such an amazing organization, Accessibility, for doing this work. And I'd like to remind everyone, even the longest journey begins with one step. So let's take these steps and let's begin and keep going on this powerful journey together of accessibility. Thank you so much, Josh, for being here. I'm so thrilled that we got to chat about Accessibility and your incredible life and journey. I mean, I'm going to check out all of your work and keep looking at Accessibility and make sure my own website is accessible. So thank you. Any closing words you'd like to share with us before we go?
I always am so grateful for opportunities like this. And it means the world to me that we're talking more about and having these conversations. Even just 5 years ago, these type of conversations were not happening at the level they are today. More businesses are doing diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI, and they're really taking this seriously. They're recognizing that people with disabilities are a smart business opportunity, but also they're learning that we want to ingrain this within our business culture. We want to make sure that we have these conversations, not forced, but having them naturally. And that's ingraining disability and diversity and equity and inclusion with the DNA of a business. And the more that we talk about this, the more we hire people with disabilities, the more that we, include people with disabilities to have a seat at the table. We're going to have a much better, more inclusive world and society. And it's going to be a win-win for everyone. And I recognize that before my injury, I really did not know much about disability. And then I was forced into this world after I broke my neck. But since coming here and having my eyes open to this, there's just so many lives, so many people that make up this community. And it's not a matter if, but when will disability impact you, whether it's you individually or a friend or a family member or someone or just age. And, disability catches up to all. So why not make the world accessible now? So it benefits not only yourself, the people you love, and just so many futures to come.
Perfect note to end on. Thank you so much, Josh. And that's why the Disability Channel, employs people with disabilities and helps people with disabilities find employment, because we are here, we are capable, we are strong, we are resilient, and we are hardworking. So thank you so much, Josh. I'm so excited to check out Accessibility's website and learn more about how I can become more accessible and inclusive online. So thank you again. Thank you everyone for watching, and join us next time with a fashion designer changing things up.
Thank you, Rachel, so much for inviting me today.